Hi, my name is Amanda Strickler, and I am originally from a very small town in Kansas called Colony. The red indicates the county that I'm from, where it's at in Kansas. I graduated 2015 at Kansas State University, and I have been a diehard K-State fan my entire life. And then the picture on the right represents my current fiance, and we are still planning a go on our wedding this summer. Um, so far we haven't been affected, and hopefully we continue not to be affected. I teach in the neighboring town. It's a 4A high school. Uh, it's like 10 miles from where I grew up. I am the agriculture education teacher, um, and I absolutely love my job. We just had our first ever virtual um, Kansas State FFA banquet, and recently found out that my chapter received two state proficiency finalists and the Kansas State Star Farmer. So I am super excited for them, and that's a pretty big deal. And those kids worked really hard to get it. I am also the high school head volleyball coach. I have a passion for volleyball, and I absolutely love watching any sports, but if I had to pick my favorite, it would be volleyball. And then the picture on the right represents a little about me. I love the outdoors, animals, anything agriculture, and that is my old show heifer who is now about 15 years old and still going strong. I also love to travel or go on vacation. Last summer, I went to the Bahamas, and that's the picture on the left. The bottom picture is a group of friends that we enjoy traveling around riding ATVs. And then the picture on the right is on my horse. And sometimes there's just no place like home or the great outdoors, where it's nice, peaceful, and quiet. My 10 takeaways from this assignment would be the SBM, school or site based management, is a growing trend. I believe this is significant because I think that is the way it should be heading, giving principals more freedom and flexibility to use their funds how they see fit because they are the ones directly in contact with those in need. Um, Also, school or site based management benefits include resources given to specific sites who understand and can make the decisions to provide for them. Those first two kind of tie hand in hand, what I learned and what I believe should be happening. A school philosophy generally tells you who controls the money in that school. This may be like slightly underlooked, I feel like, but if you're going to be a school principal, you definitely want to know this. Are you okay with not having that much control, or do you want the freedom to do that and knowing the culture of that school will tell you a lot? Income statements, cash flow, and balance sheets. I think that gets overlooked again sometimes, and it's very significant to understand how to read these. I teach this in my ag business class as well because I do believe it's very important, and just having that knowledge so you can understand how the money is flowing in your building. I did not know that schools could pay for or have online resources to help them out with the income, cash flow, and balance sheet. And some of you may find that very silly, but we are very old fashioned, like paper Excel kind of district. Um, I had no idea principals are responsible for hiring an accountant as an auditor for school and tracking accounts. I did know there was an auditor. I did not know necessarily that it was the principal's responsibility. Our district office handles that. State and local dollars make up 92% of all education spending. That's a pretty big number. It's very significant because a school is part of the community, and it would not function without it. And I do know the state helps schools in funding a lot. School principals should have more of a say on how their budget is spent. They are the ones closest in control. That was a big takeaway that I um, connected with during this. As you can see, it kind of ties back into my number one and two. Central offices making spending decisions are not good because sometimes they use a one size fits all method that doesn't work. I completely agree with that. Some districts have many high schools or middle schools within them, like the ones in the huge cities, uh, and different needs could be in each building, and that's a big thing. And then number 10, the idea of principal empowerment accounts, in which principals receive per pupil funding allotment directly from the state, over which they have full control. I think that's pretty awesome because, again, my big thing here is they are the ones directly the most in contact with students that's in charge. So why not give them the freedom and flexibility to use those funds on the needs that they see? What I haven't seen my principal do is hiring an accountant as an auditor and using the online resources. I personally am in charge of 4 different student activity accounts at our high school just through um, my coaching and the FA accounts and the medals accounts and things like that. And I have worked very, very closely with my principal, and I've seen a lot of things. We've sat down and looked at budgets. How could we move this around? But I've never seen him do these 2 things. Concerns about being in charge of a budget. I consider myself very well at managing money, and I really don't have any concerns about that. But I guess my 2 biggest concerns would be having a need that I can't help with, or because I don't have enough funds. That would be a big concern. And then not being given the freedom to use the budget how I see fit. I don't like to be micromanaged and just give me a budget and I will stay under it and disperse it because the money is for the kids and what's best for them. But those are my 2 biggest concerns. And then here are my references.